That's a heavy pour to swirl. Hello everyone, and welcome to this brand new YouTube channel called My Wine Diary. My name is Dasha and I will be hosting videos that are connected to wines. The idea for this channel is to learn together, me share my learning curves when it comes to wines. What I've come to realize through the past couple of years is that there's really not much education on wine when it comes to the internet. And hear me out, there will be a lot of people saying, what are you talking about? There are plenty of books, there are plenty of videos, plenty of actually knowledgeable people talking about wine. Shh, shh, shh. Hear me out. Every time I look for a specific wine question, I always get a very detailed sommelier answer to it, which is not a bad thing, but sometimes you just want a simple answer. Sometimes you just want someone who is currently learning about wine to tell you how they found things out and what do they think. I guess some people would want to see this. If not, anytime, click out. I'm not an expert, I'm not a sommelier. The other part of this YouTube channel will be the series that's called Wine Talk, where either myself or with guests, I will be drinking wine and discussing certain life aspects and life topics, so that should be interesting too. But on today's agenda, while I am here drinking my Napa Petite Sirah, which I truly enjoy. It's a beautiful style of wine to find from Napa. So if you're ever in a store and you just don't know what to drink, you want something full body, you want something that's pretty warm and dense in its taste as well, beautiful color to it. I'm not a meat eater, but this would go beautifully with meat as well. Just look for a Petite Sirah from Napa or Petite Sirah from California in general. Napa Petite Sirah is one of my favorites though. So cheers, and we will jump right in. So the idea behind this video was to talk about times and places where you don't really want to go for wine. What a brilliant idea to start a YouTube channel dedicated specifically to wine, then not to tell you guys when not to drink it. I know, logic is not my strong suit, but today I will be telling you 5 places or 5 occasions where I think you should not be going for wine at all. And either you agree or disagree with that. If you have something to add to that, leave a comment down below and just let me know what you think. I'd be very curious to find out. But without any further ado, let's go ahead and jump in. Number 1, airplanes. In my opinion, it is so not worth it. Unless you're in a first or business class. I have never flown a first or business class, so I don't know what kind of wine they serve there. Probably better wine, but if you consider yourself a wine drinker, let me just tell you something. I fly all the time. Airplanes just don't have good wine. Some airlines actually stopped serving wine as their alcoholic beverage type for whatever reasons. Not quite sure. I need to ask some of my friends. I have a lot of friends who work in the industry, but a lot of airlines stopped doing that, period. Now, the ones that still do, you know the spiel. It's going to be a white or a red. The selection is just so not worth it, and I think it's a different topic to discuss in general, why you shouldn't really be drinking much alcohol on a long flight or up in the air to start with. But airplanes, don't go for wine. If you really consider yourself a wine lover, it's just not worth it. Number 2, networking events. Similarly so to the airplanes. Why to bother? Those places, those events will never have good wine. So not only that it's a work event, so technically you're there for work, networking with other people from your industry, and you could potentially fall face down if you drink too much. Just rewind this whole thing back and think about it one more time. A lot of times they have those stations with bartenders that are hired by the event, so you don't even pay for it. You can tip them every once in a while. You know the networking event type I'm talking about, right? I am not talking about exceptions when they're really bougie and they serve you all sorts of beautiful wines. I'm talking about a regular networking event. You should see the picture. It's just not worth it. Again, you know, for me, for my full-time job, when I have networking events, and I do have them quite a lot, what I normally do is just to go for any known mixed drinks with liquor that I know that's displayed at the bar. So I'm a gin drinker, so if I see that their wine selection is, but I see Bombay out there, I will go for a gin and club and just skip the frustration of having a bad wine at a networking event. So just take my word for it. No networking event wines. Number 3 is actually certain restaurants. What you will say, don't drink wine at a restaurant? I know it may sound like some really not smart idea of mine. However, I again have a good point here. So I'm talking about restaurants and establishments that are not wine oriented. So for instance, if you're at a restaurant and you're looking at the menu and you consider yourself a wine lover and you see that their wine selection literally has 2 or 3 or 4 wines, I would even go as far as 4 or 5 wines, meaning they only have 1 of each type. So they have 1 white, 1 red, 1 sangria, and then they have a prosecco of some sort. So if that's what you see, just know that this restaurant is not invested into serving wine to people, so their selection is not good. So those are the types of restaurants I'm talking about. I'm sure you've been there before. I'm sure you have been to a place where you really wanted some wine. You went there. The food could be great. They just don't specialize in wine. A lot of times breweries fall under the same categories too. So if you're in a brewery, clearly they specialize in beer making. So their wine selection, if any, will not be as good. So just save yourself time, and you know that that really goes along that goes along for a lot of places. Just know what you're there for. If you're there for good food, maybe have some water and have your good wine at home, or go to a wine bar afterwards where you will really enjoy that wine. For me, when it comes to drinking a glass of any wine versus not drinking any wine until I can enjoy a good glass of wine, I'll always select the latter. Number 4, and this one is a little bit controversial too, because every once in a while I do make an exception to this rule, but that is drinking wine while playing sports. So let's think about different scenarios here. What I'm talking about is basically anything that requires you to apply a lot of physical activity and probably lasts for quite some time. So for the longevity of the game, it's better not to drink any alcohol, including wine. So I'm a golfer, and I used to actually enjoy bringing my own bottle of wine to the course. Didn't like what they served. For the 90% of the time, golf courses, clubhouses on the premises, even if you stop there on a turn for a break, which is mid-game basically, or even if you're stopping at a clubhouse after the game, they don't have good wine. So, you know, I like having a good wine. You're in nature, so I'd bring my bottle with me. My game got impaired. It really got impaired pretty badly. Now, for some people, it's the complete opposite actually, and a lot of people drink while playing golf, and they think that that's what helps their game. It helps them loosen up. But I think that that really goes along with other sports, not just golf. For me, a good example is golf. It's a pretty long game. A full game is usually about 4 hours. So if you start drinking in the middle of the day or in the morning, a lot of games are, a lot of tee times start early in the morning. If you start drinking then for 4 hours straight, you're losing a lot of energy, and golf requires you to move a lot, just like other sports that you might be playing while drinking too. So all you really need at that point is hydration, and wine is not giving it to you. So for me, the game has really changed in the past year and a half. I now have absolutely 0 alcohol on a golf course, and if I was to do any other game, even if it's playing something with your friends, I would say wait until you're done playing sports, and then have a glass of wine and really enjoy it afterwards, because you will not enjoy the game. There is a potential of actually hurting yourself because you've been drinking. So I think that's worth it, to just wait a little bit longer and have your wine or any other drink afterwards. Number 5, we are now at the final point, or the final place and circumstance where you don't really want to drink any wine or any other alcohol for that matter too. And this one, again, could be a little controversial. I feel like I had a few points that were a little bit controversial in this video, but my point number 5, or place number 5, are actually certain countries of the world. So think about places that prohibit alcohol. There are plenty of places like that in the world. We have Afghanistan, we have Kuwait, we have Saudi Arabia, we have Maldives. Maldives is actually a very, very interesting country when it comes to drinking in general. I have not been there myself, but I have multiple friends who've been to Maldives before, and it's a great example to follow. So according to Maldives law, you actually, if you're a Muslim, you're not allowed to have any sort of alcohol, so they prohibit it for the Muslim population. Now, for the rest of the population, it's either very strictly restricted, so to say, so it's extremely hard to get, and you pay a big buck to get that alcohol for yourself. Or a lot of times what I heard happen is you actually have to go away from the land onto the water, and they sell alcohol on boats in Maldives. So you cannot really buy or drink alcohol on the premises, on the soil of the Maldives Islands. You have to go offshore to buy it and to consume it. So they make it extremely, extremely hard. So point being, here's what I'm trying to say here. There are a lot of countries out there, I think I can say a lot, there's quite a lot, that prohibit alcohol, and this is in their religion, this is in their beliefs, and I think we really need to respect that. This world really lacks a little bit of respect and understanding towards others, and you know, although you cannot or may not understand why they're doing things the way they're doing things, I think it's just common courtesy to give them a benefit of a doubt and respect the fact that you're going to visit their country, and there are laws that are applied to the country that you're visiting, so please be respectful. And if you're at the state where you cannot live without alcohol, or you need that wine in your trip so bad, choose a different country to go to, because going through so much troubles, potentially again getting yourself in troubles for violating somebody's beliefs and somebody's laws, is just so not worth it. With the friends that travel to Maldives quite frequently, I can't remember if I ever actually asked them how good the quality of the alcohol was, because they probably charge you triple or quadruple the price of the same alcohol that you would buy anywhere else. But how good of alcohol do they have? If it's so hard to get and you're already paying so much money, is it even good, or are they selling just anything because they know the public would want to get it because they don't have any other option? So my point 5 and my last point for today, places where you should not be drinking wine at are countries where it's just not allowed. So be respectful of that and don't do it. So you guys, this concludes my first video for this brand new YouTube channel. If you're just like me and you love wine and you love talking, sharing ideas and learning together, please go ahead and subscribe. That would really, really mean the world to me. I have, of course, this concern that people will or may not like my content, but honestly, I am creating all of these videos more so because I love to talk to the camera. I love drinking wine, very passionate about both. I love helping people, so if this video helped you or entertained you at least a tiny bit, give it a thumbs up and make sure to subscribe. It would literally make my day, my week, and my launch of this YouTube channel so much more pleasant and interesting. I will do my absolute best to be consistent with this channel and post videos every single week to start with, and then we'll just kind of see where it goes. Topics are numerous. I have so many ideas. If you have any ideas for me, or if you want me to review any wines or do any similar topics that I did today, let me know. And until next time, cheers.